Welcome back. This is K24. This morning, my name is Mungala Mbuvi, sitting in for Jeff Morte, but the conversation goes on. And this is what we're asking you as far as the BBI process is concerned. Do you have faith in the county assemblies to deliver your expectations on BBI? Let's see what you're saying on social media. Good morning, Mbuvi. Personally, I have no faith on the county assemblies. A large percentage of the BBI is politically driven. MCAs are very selfish. Where I come from, there is an MCA who has done nothing, even in his own village. Mbuvi, I am telling you this, they will only accept the BBI when their interests are captured in the document. An increase of the ward fund. We are likely to see billionaires in your villages. This is Ahmed from county number 4, a 22-year-old political ambitious individual. Thank you very much, Ahmed. We have Timothy from Mukurweni saying, say hi to my speaker, Honorable Kagushia. I second what he said in the common, Mwananchi do not have the document to read. I personally have not come across it, and I don't trust the one circulated in the social media. Let the hard copy be distributed to all citizens. Tujisome, tujiamulia. Asante sana, Timothy. We also have Mbuvi ask Elachi, is the current constitutional amendment number 1 popular initiative or parliamentary? This is Julius from Kitui. Thank you very much, Julius. All right, Mheshimiwa Elachi, maybe you can just answer Julius. Is it popular or parliamentary?
It's popular.
It's popular.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
thank you very much.
We
do have Douglas Mbilu, the speaker for Makueni, Kagushia John, Mheshimiwa speaker for Nyeri County, and former Nairobi speaker, Honorable Beatrice Elachi. And Mheshimiwa Kagushia, you were explaining a point earlier on in regards to whether MCAs or county assemblies across the nation have been compromised to either support or not support this process.
I think MCAs are doing well.
I think MCAs are doing well. You know, MCAs did come up with a memorandum when the BBI team was collecting the views in the first place.
Yes.
The members of county assembly through the county assemblies forum, we did sit together and came up with a very, very comprehensive memorandum that was presented at KICC. And also individual assemblies also did present their individual views. But when it comes to all the county assemblies, we did a collective MOU and we presented it to the that is memorandum, and we presented it to the BBI team. And when the report came out, County Assemblies Forum again sat down and looked at the MOU versus the report,
yes,
versus the bill, and they asked themselves, what we gave, is it reflecting? And if it is not reflecting, how can we have it in the bill? And basically that has been the push and pull between the County Assemblies Forum and the BBI team and the BBI report. Because what we are saying is what we have raised in the first place, it needs to reflect here.
Yes.
And we have again gone ahead and picked a few issues which we think are mandatory. They are important to reflect in the BBI. And in fact, we have that memorandum again, which we have also presented to the principals. And so members of County Assembly are very structured. And they are they are issue oriented. They are putting their issues on the table. His Excellency, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, did appear in one of the meetings where members of county assemblies were having a meeting.
Yes.
And he was given the same issues again by the members of the county assemblies. And of course, his stand was that the BBI report cannot be changed.
Yes.
And so at least this time round, you've got to give to the MCAs. They're doing well. They are raising issues. They are not on handouts. They are not asking for handouts. They are raising issues, and they're saying we need to have 1, 2, 3, reflected or taken into the bill.
Yes.
And so the issue of MCAs getting this and getting that, I don't think it arises anywhere at all. In any case, members of county assemblies have not been involved. I've seen the collection of signatures in Nyeri County.
Yes.
I have not seen a single MCA who has been invited or called, or even a speaker who has been invited or called to participate in that process. And so that clearly tells you that members of county assembly are themselves themselves more interested with the issues. Again, even at Nairobi State House, when the signature launch was done,
Yes.
I did not see members of county assembly invited.
Okay.
I saw governors. I never saw speakers. I never saw members of county assembly. And so, members of county assembly, you can't say then that they are asking or they have been compromised in any way. They are waiting for the document. Then they will do the public participation. And of course, you've got to know that this bill will not be subject to amendment in the county assemblies. So county assemblies will only receive the bill, debate the bill, involve the public, and then after that, will go ahead to take a vote for this bill.
All
now,
right.
2 of the county assemblies have, on behalf of the others, gone to the Supreme Court to ask for some interpretation and some guidance and advice. The County Assembly of Kericho and the County Assembly of Nandi. They have gone to the court to ask, can the Supreme Court also explain to us or guide us on the threshold that will be required to pass this bill once it comes to the county assemblies? Will it be 50%? Or that is a simple majority, or will it be a 2/3 majority like it is supposed to be in the National Assembly?
All right.
We have also, the 2 county assemblies, are, again on behalf of all of us, have also gone again to the Supreme Court to seek for guidance as to whether and the role of public participation in the process of county assemblies getting the views from the public. And I guess why the popular initiative was supposed to go to all the county assemblies is so that it can measure the temperatures of different regions, so that the people of those regions can express themselves through their grassroots leaders. And so basically what is expected is that members of county assemblies will take the document, take it to the public, take it to their people, and listen to them. And from there, they will be able to know which way to vote.
Okay.
If you vote against what your population wants and requires,
Yes.
then it will be up to you
All
as
right.
a county assembly to take that responsibility and to know how to deal with that issue when the issue of your own survival politically comes. So
Thank you,
basically, that's why popular initiatives are popular. So and members of county assembly,
Yes.
in terms of what they are supposed to do, they are limited to just listening to the public,
Yes.
what the public has to say. They are limited to reading the document, understanding the document, and seeing whether the document means well for the country.
Okay.
And of course, then they take a vote based on that.
Okay, thank you, Mheshimiwa Kagushia. Yeah, you have a question?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Mheshimiwa Kagushia?
To Speaker.
Okay.
Now, when Speaker says they have gone on behalf of all other county assemblies, so do we have signatures of all the other assemblies being attached? Because he's my friend.
Yes.
It can bring a lot of political heat for nothing, you know. So it's good to explain to Kenyans if they have signatures of all the other either speakers representing them saying, yes, my county is part of the letter that has gone to court for an advisory. It's important.
Yeah,
Then the other thing is that I remember we had Punguza Mzigo. You know, Punguza Mzigo is the only example we can use in all these initiatives.
Okay.
Nobody else has done the way Third Alliance did. And they were able to go up to county assemblies. 3 of them supported, the rest declined.
Yes.
And there were reasons. And I think those are reasons now. People have to learn, that is a precedence that was set that all county assemblies used. So are we saying when we were doing Punguza Mzigo, because all I know, if you're changing a constitution, you must have 2/3.
Okay.
It is not something to be advised for unless you change the article in there. There's no difference between parliament and us in the assemblies. That is why our roles are similar. And so the president set in the constitution, 2/3. 2/3 have to pass in your assembly.
Both especially in the assembly.
Exactly.
In the county assembly.
There's nothing different. Or else you want to tell me the advisory will be more powerful, and he's a constitutional lawyer. The advisory will have more weight than the constitution itself. So for me, when we were doing Punguza Mzigo, we knew it was 2/3.
Okay.
So even if it failed, it has to fail with 2/3.
Okay.
If it passed, it's supposed to pass with 2/3.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Maybe I can also
answer
bring
that.
on
I can answer that,
Mheshimiwa.
But it is good to hear because he's a constitutional lawyer.
Yeah,
to advise him.
Mheshimiwa Kagusha.
Yeah, let me answer that.
I will let you answer that in a minute.
Yes.
I'd like to hear the thoughts of Mheshimiwa Douglas as well on the same. Mheshimiwa Douglas, Nandi County, I believe, and Kericho have gone ahead to the Supreme Court to ask for some translations here and there. Is Makueni part of that? Because he said, Mheshimiwa Kagusha said that they went on behalf of other counties. So is Makueni part of that process?
The application before the Supreme Court by the two sister county assemblies is limited to those county assemblies in terms of application, in my view. However, the advisory that will be given by the Supreme Court in respect of the two county assembly can be applied across the 47 counties.
Okay.
And therefore, at the moment, it is not possible to say Makueni and any other county that is not part of that petition is party to it in terms of application, unless they apply and agree with the applicants to be enjoined that particular application. That is point number one.
Okay.
And number two, there's a similar application, not very similar, that has been applied by the governor for Makueni County.
Yes.
And I know there has been question as to whether that is an application by the county government of Makueni that constitutes the executive and the assembly. But I also want to state that the letterhead is very clear that it is a petition by the governor of Makueni, Kivutha Kibwana.
Yes.
As is a county assembly, and so are other county assembly, national assembly and parliament have authority similar to that of an high court. And when this matter of referendum will be presented before us, we'll make a similar interpretation and a decision as provided for the constitution. Therefore, we don't want to be party to that particular. So the ruling that will be made then will affect the county assembly.
Okay.
But on what my sister has indicated, in terms of the two-thirds majority, the two county assembly are seeking to know the threshold of the votes, whether it is 50%
or
simple
two-thirds,
majority or two-thirds majority for every county assembly before you attain the 24 plus county assemblies. Now, what we did with Punguza Mzigo and the constitution provides for at least 50% of the county assemblies must approve that referendum bill for it to be processed to the Senate and the National Assembly. But the constitution does not provide for that county assembly of Makueni will be required to pass that referendum bill with two-thirds majority or simple majority. In the case of Punguza Mzigo, the requirement and the threshold was 50%.
Yes.
Now, I like the argument that should be two-thirds, and that is why the two county assembly are seeking opinion of the Supreme Court, because it's not expressly provided for in the constitution or any other law, but it's contemplated that it should be a threshold above 50%. That is what I can say at the moment.
All right, Mheshimiwa, still on you, before we get to Mheshimiwa Kagusha, your governor has said that he wants to lead a no campaign, and Kagusha did mention that, you know, it's good to understand the temperature of the people on the ground. So Professor Kivutha Kibwana wanting to lead a no campaign against this amendment bill, does it mean that that is the temperature on the ground?
Can't hear you. Sorry, come up again.
Professor Kivutha, your governor has said that he wants to move to shut down or rather lead a no campaign against BBI. Is this the feeling of the people of Makueni?
As far as a referendum process, which is a popular initiative, is concerned,
yes,
it is a decision of an institution or an individual, in my view.
Okay.
Therefore, the position of the head of the executive of the county of Makueni cannot be construed to be the position of the county assembly. And I'm saying we have a constitutional mandate to decide on this particular matter, and when that time will come, as the representative of the people, they will make a decision in view of what the people have said.
Okay.
And number two, the application by the governor is not a representative of the people of Makueni in this particular application. If was to be a representative on a matter that pertains court, then all interested parties would sign into that petition, in my view. I don't remember his application as signatures of citizens of Makueni in support of that affidavit and application thereof.
Okay.
And therefore, it is an application of the governor from Makueni as the head of the executive arm of the government and not the head of the government of Makueni, because the assembly is a legislature headed by the speaker.
Okay.
I want to be very clear on that.
All right, thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Kagusha, you were to say something in regards to 50% versus two-thirds.
I think Mheshimiwa Mbilu, Speaker Makueni has explained very well. And I concur with his explanation that the application of the advisory that will come from the Supreme Court will be applicable to all the county assemblies.
Okay.
And he has also again explained and clarified that the Constitution of Kenya does not give the threshold of 2/3 for the county assemblies to pass the law or the bill when it comes to the county assemblies. Instead, the constitution is silent. And that is why the advisory is necessary, so that we know, in this case, do you need to apply what is prescribed in the Article 256? Do you need to also apply it in 257? Or do you need to ignore it and just say for the county assemblies it is silent, and then so therefore it will be a simple majority? So that is why the advisory is so necessary and required to come before we can take the vote in the county assemblies. So just to explain to my friend and Mheshimiwa Elachi that it is not in the constitution, it is silent in the constitution. And in the case of Punguza Mzigo, we just applied the law haphazardly. Some county assemblies did 2/3, others did simple majority, and this time round we want to be more harmonized in how we apply. Again, I also agree with the view that the opinion and the position taken by the head of executive in any county is that of that head of executive. It does not in any way reflect the aspirations, the thinking of the county assemblies. You know, I had one of the leaders of BBI in State House proclaim that now we have 30 governors in State House. So this is more than 24 county assemblies that we need to pass the BBI. And I think that was very, very mistaken for a member of parliament to actually say that. Because governors do not order and do not operate county assemblies. County assemblies are independent legislative bodies which run on their own separate motion, and they act according to the wills and the wishes of the public. And so it would be wrong for anyone to confuse that in any way. So it's important to have that separation. And as county assemblies, that's how we see ourselves, and that's how we are. We are independent, and we do things in our own way as a county assembly.
Mheshimiwa Kagusha, I believe Mheshimiwa Beatrice has another question. Mheshimiwa?
For me, I just want to tell my leaders in the county assemblies, you know, when you bring up such a scenario, you're trying to tell me that you're not like the Parliament of Kenya. Then the question will come that can haunt you, is that in parliamentary commonwealth practices, when we don't have a practice or a law, we look at the precedents that have been set. Now, the Constitution of Kenya tells Parliament that if you want to change the Constitution of Kenya in Parliament, you must be 2/3. Now, you can't tell me as an assembly who have taken the same roles of that Parliament, and you call yourself a Parliament within your county, that is a wrong law. Now, this one is wrong. What the national government and its Parliament is doing is wrong. Now we want to look for an advisory. Where you are taking that assembly is the next time, and I'll give them an example. Today we are silent on the leadership of all counties. But because there's a practice, and even in Senate, you realize in Senate, it's very silent. There's nothing like majority leader, or it was only in the National Assembly within the Constitution. But because in Commonwealth, practices are the same, we took exactly that and brought it within the counties. So if you tell me you're looking for that advisory, now someone is going to go to court and say, look, any issue that is silent in the Constitution and is happening in county assemblies, we need advisory. You will put counties into a lot of challenges. You will find SRC telling you, yeah, we told you this. You said, so it is something, that's why they say in Commonwealth practices of Parliament, when the law is there, the senior most, which is Parliament, then you borrow. But it's okay. I was just saying, it's good. It's very important to get the advisory, but I think you've opened a Pandora that is going to haunt so many people.
And there's a word that Mheshimiwa Kagusha used when he said the Punguza Mzigo was applied or debated on haphazardly. Some did a 50% majority plus one.
And I think that is why we have the County Assembly's forum. the best would have been if there were those challenges, because all I did, and my Speaker Muturi will agree, I went to him, because I know I have to borrow from Parliament. So I went to him, and I asked him. He asked me one question. When we are changing the constitution in Parliament,
yes,
what threshold do we use?
2/3.
And that is what I came and said, okay, fine, if those are the practices, because I mean, I would not have gone to advisory. It is CAF to go for that advisory at that time, because it was holding all counties. They have done well. I wish they went as CAF, but not as now. Yes, I wish CAF went to that advisory to help all county assemblies.
Okay.
That would have been the best institution to stand for everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Mbilu, then I will ask you this. In light of what has just been said by both Honorable Kagushia and Honorable Beatrice, should then the people trust counties, considering that they have spoken about the fact that some of the procedures followed in Punguza Mzigo were not necessarily, standard as is expected? Should Kenyans go ahead and trust the individuals in this room right now to implement this BBI, amendment, report as far as the counties are concerned?
Thank you very much. Allow me to speak as the Speaker of Makueni County Assembly number 17, not on behalf of the 47 county assemblies.
Okay.
And point out, number one, that county assemblies are independent arms of government, are not inferior, and that National Assembly and Parliament are not superior.
Okay.
And that is why, if they were superior, they would have amended this constitution in the absence of the participation of the county assembly. And the law is very clear on that particular matter. Number two, I want to disagree with my good friend, Speaker Elachi. Article 255, 256, and 257 provides that the assemblies to pass these bills with a majority, simple majority.
Okay.
And that if 50% of the assemblies will pass, then the National Assembly and Parliament will pass, not with 2/3 majority, with a simple majority. And therefore, it cannot be that in an application, when you are amending a constitution, there are some initiatives that will require 2/3 majority, but in this case, which is a popular initiative, the National Assembly and Senate will apply 2/3 majority. And that is the point.
Okay.
And so we want to be very particular not to borrow from standing orders and practices, because those are administrative instruments and tools that govern procedures. But this is a matter of a referendum where you are defining the basic law in the land. And any effort for a county assembly to seek interpretation of the Supreme Court for purposes of clarity should be encouraged. I don't think there is a problem in that. Instead of assuming and saying that there is a practice. So National Assembly will require, in this case, and I want to be very clear, 50% of members of Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate, to pass it. So that is why the county assemblies, in this case, my friends from Kericho and Nandi, are seeking for clarification as to whether it is 2/3 or is a simple majority, which is in their right. But at the moment, as far as the presidency is concerned, last time it was 50% on Punguza Mzigo, and a matter that I think was not contested.
All right, thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Kagushia, last thoughts on this particular matter. Should we then, or rather should you then, as county assemblies, just shoot down this particular process until we can understand and Kenyans can read it, so that we can also understand, you can also understand whether it's 50% or a simple 2/3 majority? Just shoot it down and let's move on to other, maybe more important things.
No, not really. I don't think it's our prerogative to either shoot down or pass the bill based on the lacuna that exists in law.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do, and I'm happy, by the way, that Speaker Elachi, when she presided over the Punguza Mzigo bill in her county assembly, she actually has said she went to seek for advisory from Speaker Muturi of the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So that is what is happening with the County Assembly of Nandi and Kericho. They are seeking advisory now from the Supreme Court. Of course, Supreme Court would be a more relevant body than probably seeking for advice and guidance from another speaker, which is okay, and there's no problem with that. It's perfectly in order. And what ought to have been done, Mbuvi, is that the referendum law that has been pending in Parliament for so long ought to have been passed by now. You know, because we have a referendum law that is supposed to have been guiding the process. And this law is actually pending in the parliament. It has not been passed as of up to now. And if this law was passed, it would have cleared the lacuna that exists. And I want to hope that hopefully this can be done as we progress, so that then we are guided properly. Because you can see, when you go to the parliamentary initiative, you have to go through 2/3 majority. When now you go through the popular initiative, in some instances, it talks of simple majority, like now when you go to the parliament from the county assemblies. When it comes to the county assemblies, it talks about 50% of the county assemblies. So it is important that we get an advisory on which way and how it's supposed to be done. But as to the issue of passing and not passing the bill, that one we have to leave it to individual county assemblies. We have to let them converse and have a conversation with their voters, with their residents. And this has to be done at the ward level. I want to be very candid that when it comes to Nyeri County, we will not be rushed. I heard again another member of parliament saying that when it lands in Nyeri County, it will go through the county within 3, 4, 5 days, and it has passed. I want to warn him that it has to go to the wards for members of the public to give their views and to advise their members of county assembly. That's why it's a popular initiative.
Thank you.
And then after that, it can be taken through a referendum process, where again the public will have another opportunity to give their views.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kagusha. As we close, Madam Elachi, should they just shoot it down, all 47 counties, until we understand this thing? 10 seconds, tafadhali.
Well, they are my brothers and sisters. They are the leaders of the assemblies. They have a right on what they want to do. All I want to say is that when we talk about county assemblies and even parliaments, we need each other. And I want to tell my brothers, you will need parliament. And it is not just parliament. It is the only institution that can change a law, while us, when we want to really change, we are told you can't, isn't it? So let us agree. They have some powers that we don't have. They will give us money, we will use the money. And so you need each other. You need to work with each other. We need to learn. We got the standing orders from them. If it is just a house of the way we are talking, the Speaker of the National Assembly is the third in this country. It's not just Speaker like us. No. He's the third in the Constitution. We have to respect that. But finally, I want to tell my speakers, also you lead politicians. That is why we are told we don't have the vote. We preside, they vote. Leave it to them. They can put you into a situation again, you wonder. And yet you are thinking you are doing the right thing. So the politicians in the county assemblies will decide on this matter.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely the conversation would have continued a little bit longer if we had the time. However, you can get your copy of the People Daily so that you can continue with this conversation. All you have to do is dial *550*4#, and for only 10 bob, you have this one directly to your mobile device. We do take a short break, but when we return, of course, Interactive continues. Kate Lira joins us today, and of course, Shiku Kaitani.